Chapter 10. Permission to lose to win. It's not what you say, it's what you do. While you may have heard that saying or something similar countless times, I challenge you to consider this. It's not only what you do, but what you don't do. Not making a decision is making a decision. Making a decision can be the difference between life and death, wealth and poverty, wellness and illness, losing and winning. If we lived on islands, our decisions would have minimal to no effect on anyone else but ourselves. But since we don't, making a decision to push past our fears, insecurities, and uncertainties of being an entrepreneur and leading by example changed the trajectory for my brand and me. Before graduating cosmetology school, I launched the Pink Butterfly Beauty brand. I know that was pretty ambitious, but looking back, I would not have done it any other way. My first salon opened in 2006. It was in a cute small brick house in West Columbia, South Carolina. It was called the Pink Butterfly Hair Studio. It was the perfect setup for a perfect beginning. Even with the limited parking, it was perfect. The Bible says in Zechariah 4:10, "Do not despise those small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see work begin." Obviously, the Lord was up to something. Greater was coming, and I was ready for it. Before we knew it, the Pink Butterfly Hair Studio had outgrown the space. Business was growing, and the Pink Butterfly was becoming what I had visioned, the go-to for beauty. Growth was not only taking place in the Pink Butterfly, but it was also taking place in me. The Pink Boss, as I was affectionately referred to as, was stretching and growing. I decided to take a leap and elevate the Pink Butterfly in its fullness in the way I wanted to see it. And that's when the Pink Butterfly Signature Salon and Spa was birthed. We were something like the Jeffersons, George and Louise, moving on up. Envision living in a studio apartment, then moving to a 5-bedroom, 5-bath house. Talk about an upgrade. The Pink Butterfly Signature Salon and Spa was 10,000 square feet, beautiful space in Richland Mall in Columbia, South Carolina. It had areas for hair prep, nails, spa, estheticians, and masseuses. It was beautiful. We hosted events like Neo Soul Sunday and Pink at Night. It was everything I envisioned for the Pink Butterfly brand at that time. Over time, the structure of the mall began deteriorating and the air conditioner was going out. Guess who had to foot the bill for the air conditioner? Yes, the Pink Butterfly. Replacing an air conditioning unit for a home is one thing, but for a 10,000 square foot workspace was a different story, and I wasn't reading that book. The estimated replacement cost was over $50,000. But that's not where the problem stopped. Whenever it rained inside the mall too, with holes in the ceiling and the need to purchase a $50,000 air conditioning unit. Guess what time it is? It was time to go. A large part of me didn't want to let it go. Silly, right? I was burdened with my perception of what others' perception would be. What would people think? What would they say about closing this big, beautiful location to move to something smaller? In life and business, you're supposed to upgrade, not downgrade. So I thought. I know I should not have cared, but I knew I had an audience that wanted to see me succeed, and an audience who wanted to see me fail. While the support of those rooting for me to succeed was obvious through their actions and words, those who wanted me to fail was just as obvious. Silence speaks volumes, and I wish I could have pressed mute, but there were too many missed opportunities to prove me wrong. I believe closing the Pink Butterfly Signature Salon and Spa would give them a front row to the show they wanted to see titled "You Failed, and We Knew You Would." I questioned God. I did. I could not understand why He would allow me to finally build and experience what I envisioned for the Pink Butterfly, only for me to close it down. What I didn't understand at that time was that God was up to something again. I had to make the decision to trust Him and His process. Over time, He revealed to me that the Pink Butterfly Signature Salon and Spa was a stepping stone to other things and other blessings that were bigger and greater. Bigger and greater didn't necessarily mean in size, but it did mean an impact. I can now look back and see how it was necessary to step into the evolution of the Pink Butterfly and me. God requiring the closure of the Richland Mall location was an external example of what He is doing internally. He was closing doors to thoughts of failure, doubt, and others' perceptions. I had to lose the limit I had placed on God, the brand, and myself. I had to give myself permission to lose to win if I was ever going to experience the magnanimous blessings God had in store for my brand and me. Permission slip. I grant myself permission to lose to win. I understand I can no longer continue to carry the emotional baggage. I have to lose the limitations I have placed on God and myself to see and understand what lies ahead positions me to win. Note to self, lose to win. Quote, options over optics.